You know, SSL over the last few years, you can see that they're now going more into consumer-based products, small project studios. They're not just, you know, up until the last 4 or 5 years, SSL was just strictly big consoles. That's it. They didn't make anything else. Now they're making 2-channel interfaces. They're making little mini mixers. They make the XL series. They make now the baby Origin, the full-size Origin. They're making plugins now, control surfaces. And I think, mark my words, and I don't know any inside information, but if I had to predict what's going to happen in the next 2 years, you're going to see a DAW come out of them. I think that 360,
really?
Yep. I think that 360 software is going to be a precursor to a DAW at one point. That's what I think. That's what I think.
I
have
certainly
no
wouldn't dispute
information
it.
on that, but I'm just telling you, everything that I see that's happened in the last 2 or 3 years with the UF8 and the UC1 and plug-in control, the 360 software for mixing, the only thing that they're missing now is the recording piece. Is a DAW. And I think that 360 software will be expanded into some kind of a recording platform. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean the one side of my brain is screaming, but does the world need yet another DAW? You know,
it depends on how they do it. It's like here, like Universal Audio Luna. I thought, I still think it's in infancy stages compared to the other ones, but I still think that if they can do it in a way that's not like every other DAW, and they're trying to bridge the gap between analog and digital and giving you more of that analog experience, let's call it, with digital, with some control surfaces and really tight integration with whatever their software is. I think nobody really has done that yet. Nobody has really done that yet. You're either analog or you're digital. Nobody has really tied the physical hardware to that DAW, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast tonight. Where they do some things kind of good, some things kind of suck, some things are kind of in the middle. And within 5 minutes of every time I've put one of those controllers in front of me, I find 5 things that should be improved. Within 5 minutes, that tells me that it's never really been taken there. And so I thought Luna might be one of the first ones, and I hear they're improving. I haven't checked out their stuff in a while. They had a lot of growing pains, but they're new.
Yeah.
And now Universal Audio, Luna does support Surface controls now. They don't have their Surface controller, but don't be surprised if Universal Audio doesn't put out a control surface in the near future. And I think the UC1, that plug-in controller with their 360 software, I think is the beginning of what can be. But again, it's going to be tied into their ecosystem. That I don't think they're going to make a DAW that's going to be every third-party plugin and everything. It's going to be an open thing where everything's going to come in. Then I think you're right. Then it's just like Pro Tools, just like Studio One and Cubase and Reaper. It's all the same. But if you make an SSL platform for recording and mixing with a suite of plugins, and they're starting to build that suite of plugins, you can see it, and all of that stuff can be controlled from hardware. I think you got something here. Got to get rid of some of these chat people here. I think someone here.
I missed something, huh?
No, I got it. I think somebody. Okay. I think you got something there that can really bridge that gap. And again, the only reason why I say any of this stuff is because I'm fortunate enough to have both workflows sitting right in my room that I work on every single week, and I go back and forth from in the box to analog to in the box analog, and I now, you know, where I could talk about it theoretically, but now I know what the physical differences are because I put my hands on this stuff every single day. I know where that gap is, and it would. I bet I would love to see SSL do that, because I think if they can do that, that could change. That could be a game changer. It could be different. Like you said, it's not like every other DAW. Now it's different. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe it won't happen. Like I said, I haven't. You know, I don't know anything, but you know.
A couple of points that, like, I think on a lot of that with the Luna by not calling it a DAW, but calling it a recording environment. You know what I mean?
Recording system, they call it? Is that what they call it? Recording system.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think they've ever changed over to saying, oh yes, we're a full-fledged DAW now. I think they're still basically covering their ass like that the same way. You know, and you know, and like I say, I know a couple of people, you know, YouTubers that are using Luna and absolutely swear by it, but they're not, you know, they're not doing full production studio stuff. They're just, you know, like they're recording and for their videos and stuff like that. So, you know, so I mean, and I know one of the people I know is building a studio right now and is intending on using Luna in it. And I'm looking at it going, yeah, you haven't tried it yet. You know what I mean? Because like we did and it didn't work. So, you know.
Well, here's the thing. You know, we did when it first came out. We also then tried to use it when the M1 Mac first came out. And so it wasn't compatible yet. Again, I would love to do a follow-up video on it because when we first tried Luna, before we put it on the SSL, when we tried it all in the box, I did some, again, go to Home Recording Made Easy, everybody. There's live streams of you watching me use it. I said at that time, this is a killer this could be a killer DAW.
When it's done.
When it's done. And now, again, we're talking 2 years ago. By now, I think there's been a lot of improvements and changes made. I think it could probably really good, but I don't know. I haven't tried it, so I can't say that it's any better. My guess is that it is better. But I think SSL's onto something. I don't know any insider information on this. I just got to think that if you went through all the trouble of improving the 360 software, and you have now 2 control surfaces, and now you're building more plugins to control with those control surfaces. What's the next logical step? A way to record into that program.
Yeah. Well, you know, plus the fact that they do have the Matrix DAW controller. You know, they already have that.
That's what I'm saying.
So I mean, like, yeah, they're already halfway down that road now.
Right. So don't be surprised. You know, so anyway, AA says,
I wouldn't be surprised at all. So you know.
And yes, we need another DAW that has original console style workflow instead of opening and closing plugins over and over again. That's where Luna first they were before the plugin matrix that SSL has.
Yeah.
That was the first thing, and I said it in those videos way back then when we were mixing on it. I said, this is just like working on an analog desk in channel strip format without having to open and close plugin windows. That's why I liked it. Yeah. Now that's what SSL has too. You're right. That's where I think it's different. The difference is, at least right now, Luna, I don't think so. There was no hardware unit to control that software in the console experience, where with SSL there is. That, and again, I'll say it again. The difference between these two workflows is that if you have to 50% of the time, if you have to take your mouse and keyboard and click and open and close plugin windows, you're done. That's the experience. That's what screws the experience up, and you have to tweak all the parameters with a mouse. Or if you have to map everything to a kind of a clunky controller where all the parameters don't always work and this and that, it could become very frustrating. If you have the controller that streamlined that process, kind of like the Softtube Console 1, but even they have a few little bumps in there that they need to iron out. But they were the closest one I've used. Now I can't wait next week to start digging into that plugin thing, the SSL one, because they have that now. That's the difference. That's where Luna or any of these other ones could be better. So, but that's, you know, anywho.